Hello everyone, welcome back to the class. So, as you know, we are discussing the first lesson in our syllabus, that is, I have three visions for India, and we have already discussed certain things in the lesson. But before we start the lesson, let us see some of the important things that Kalam said to the students. These are some of the words spoken by him in his speeches at different places. I have already told you that he loved to talk to students. And though being a scientist, though being one of the prime ministers, as we know that he was the 11th prime minister in India, though he had so many other achievements, uh, this was the one thing that he loved to do in his life, and that is inspiring and talking to students. So there are some of the very important, very inspiring and very motivating words that he spoke. I would just read out these words. We would not discuss it, but let us just hear what he said. Don't take rest after your first victory, because if you fail in second, more lips are waiting to say that your first victory was just luck. All of us do not have equal talent, but all of us have an equal opportunity to develop our talent. Be more dedicated to making solid achievements than in running after swift but synthetic happiness. Dreams are not those which comes while we are sleeping, but dreams are those when you don't sleep before fulfilling them. Confidence and hard work is the best medicine to kill the disease called failure. It will make you a successful person. Some of the brightest minds in the country can be found on the last benches of the classroom. Difficulties in your life do not come to destroy you, but to help you realize your hidden potential and power. Let difficulties know that you too are difficult. Thinking is the capital, enterprise is the way, and hard work is the solution. My message, especially to young people, is to have courage, to think differently, courage to invent, to travel the unexplored path, courage to discover the impossible and to conquer the problems and succeed. These are great qualities that they must work towards. This is my message to the young people. Okay, let us now continue with the lesson. What we had already started in the last class. I have three visions for India. By Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Now we know that firstly he gives three visions for India, and we know that now that basically he believed that India should have freedom. Firstly, secondly, there should be development, and he believes that now we should not consider ourselves as a developing nation but a developed nation. And the third vision is that we should stand up to the world. India should stand up to the world, because he believes that unless India stands up to the world, no one will respect us. Only strength respects strength. So he believes that we must be strong not only as a military power but also as an economic power. Both must go hand in hand. So these are the three visions that he has for India. And as I told you in the last class, in the in the short notes that you are going to be asked from prose, you can have a short note on Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's three visions for India, and you have to discuss these three visions. Okay. Now, after this, I had also discussed the four milestones that Kalam gave in his career. The four milestones in his career. This can also be a topic for short notes. The question can be the four milestones in Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's career. Now we know those four milestones. First is that he had worked in ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization. He had worked in ISRO, and he had the opportunity to be the project director for India's first satellite launch vehicle, that is SLV-3. Okay. Now the second milestone was that he joined DRDO. DRDO is Defense Research and Development Organization. Defense Research and Development Organization. Now he considers this as the second bliss or the second milestone in his career. By joining DRDO, he got a chance to be the part of India's guided missile program. This was the second bliss. Now the third bliss was that the Department of Atomic Energy and DRDO had this tremendous partnership in the recent nuclear test on May 11 and 13. So this recent nuclear test, that in those nuclear tests, he also was a part of the mission. Now he considers this his third bliss. These three milestones are concerned with the important achievements in science and in the aerospace department. The fourth one is a completely different one. As we know, there was an orthopedic surgeon who came to him to request for a material that is light in weight, that can be used for the calipers in the calipers of the children, because they used to use very heavy metallic calipers weighing over 3 kilograms each. This orthopedic surgeon requested Dr. Kalam to develop one such new material, and within 3 weeks time they did develop a new material, and they gave it to the doctor, and the doctor was very happy because now his patients, that were small children, the little girls and boys, will be will not be required to lift very heavy metallic calipers. So seeing that happiness in the eyes of children and their parents, that was the fourth milestone in his career, and he has said this. Let me read it again. In 3 weeks' time, we made these flow reaction from orthosis 300-gram calipers and took them to the orthopedic center. The children didn't believe their eyes. From dragging around a 3-kilogram load on their legs, they could now move around. Their parents had tears in their eyes. These were the tears of happiness. Their parents had tears in their eyes. That was my fourth bliss. So look at the greatness of this man, who had such great achievements in his career. Apart from those achievements, he considers that bringing happiness in the eyes of children and their parents is the fourth milestone in his career. Okay, so this can also be asked as a short note, the four milestones in the career of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Or the question can also be the fourth milestone in Kalam's career. So in that fourth milestone, you have to discuss basically this incident of developing a light material for the calipers of children. Okay, so now let us move ahead. Kalam says, I read from the lesson. Why is the media here so negative? Why are we in India so embarrassed to recognize our strengths, our achievements? We are such a great nation. We have so many amazing success stories, but we refuse to acknowledge them. Why? Kalam asked a very basic question, a very primary question. Why is the media in India so negative? Why do we always discuss the incidents and the things and the stories that are so negative? Why are we still not able to realize how much strong we are and how many achievements we already have? Why do we do this? We are such a great nation, he says, that we have so many amazing success stories, but we refuse to acknowledge them. Why? Now he gives a list of some of the important achievements of India. He says that we are the first in milk production. We are number one in remote sensing satellites. We are the second largest producer of wheat, and we are the second largest producer of rice. So these are just some of the things that comes to his mind while delivering the speech. So he says that we have so many good things already as our achievement. We are the first in milk production. We are number one in remote sensing satellites. We are the second largest producer of wheat, and we are the second largest producer of rice. He just says that why don't we look at these positive aspects? Why don't we just look at the good things that we already have? He goes on to say that look at Dr. Sudarshan. He has transformed the tribal village into a self-sustaining, self-driving unit. There are millions of such achievements, but our media is only obsessed in the bad news and failures and disasters. So he brings to our notice one of the very important things, and that is that he gives an example of Dr. Sudarshan, who has transformed the tribal village into a self-sustaining, self-driving unit. He gives an example of a person who transferred the tribal village into a self-sustaining and self-driving unit, and there are many more examples in India. So why don't we, as the people of India, and why doesn't our media take notice of these achievements? These are not the small things. These people like Dr. Sudarshan actually devote their entire life to transfer this tribal village into a self-sustaining unit. They work very hard to bring positive change in the country, in the world. Then why don't we take notice of all these things? And why do we keep discussing the negative aspects and the demotivating news? Why is our media so negative? This is what he asked. And he goes on to give one more example. He says that I was in Tel Aviv once and I was reading the Israeli newspaper. It was the day after a lot of attacks and bombardments and deaths had taken place. The Hamas had struck. But the front page of the newspaper had the picture of a Jewish gentleman who in 5 years had transformed his desert land into an orchid and a granary. So he gives example of an Israeli newspaper where already a war was going, and instead of printing those news regarding war, the newspaper actually gave on the very front page of the newspaper, there was a picture of a Jewish gentleman who had transformed this desert land into orchid and a granary. You can say that a particular desert land, he had transformed it into a garden by very hard work. So instead of discussing the news of war, the news of tension, the news of anxiety, the newspaper opted to print the news of a man who did such a good thing. who transformed the desert land into a granary, into a green place, into a garden. It was this inspiring picture that everyone woke up to. So what Kalam says is, when you take the newspaper in your hand and when you just have a glance on the first page of the newspaper, and if you come across a positive thing that has happened in the country, you feel good. Instead of the gory details of killings and bombardments and deaths that were inside the newspaper, buried among other news, the newspaper opted to publish the news of a Jewish gentleman who had brought a positive change in the desert land. So Kalam asked a primary question. In India, we only read about death, sickness, terrorism, and crime. Why are we so negative? You can see NEGATIVE that has been written in capital letters. He asked, why are we so negative about everything that comes? Why do we always have so many complaints? If we have, see, and this is the human nature. We should all actually bring some or other, correction or kind of improvement in our behavior. Instead of complaining all the time, and instead of the registering unhappiness, instead of complaining about the corruption, about the nepotism, about the crime, about the terrorism, about sickness, about poverty, about death, about some or other negative thing, why don't we focus on the positive aspect of anything? For example, there are many students who always have complaints regarding the complaints about the education system. They have always to ask, why don't we have, why don't we have changes in the education system? They have complaints about the teachers, they have complaints about the syllabus, they have complaints about the exam, they have complaints about the grading, they have complaints about the assessment, they have complaints about the structure of the colleges and schools. These are the negative things that come to their mind. Why do we not focus on the good things that we have? Why don't we think that we are among those lucky people who get the opportunity to get education? Think of those who don't get that opportunity. Why don't we feel that at least in our schools and colleges we get the opportunity to study? Think of those who don't know what schools and colleges are and how education is important. Why don't we understand that we have parents, we have teachers who guide us? Think of those who don't have parents, who have no schools to go and who don't have teachers. Why don't we focus on the positive aspect of our life, that we have friends, we have family members, we have family? Think of those who don't have anyone to take care of. Okay, so all these things are very important to focus on, and he says that instead of all the time complaining and bringing those negative things into our mind, our media should also understand its duty to focus on the positive aspects of our life. So he has this basic question: why does our media always be so negative? Okay, so that was the first question. Now, another question: why are we as a nation so obsessed with foreign things? Obsessed with foreign things means, why do we always like foreign things? That means that, for example, there is someone in your family who has gone to any of the foreign country, and when he or she comes back, they would show that they are different, they are better, they are high profile than you. You know, so this is the obsession with foreign things. For example, if we are discussing, if we are talking about the product, if there is a product that is made in India and then there is a product that is made in US, we would feel it is a kind of natural thing that comes to our mind, that the thing that is the product that is made in America is definitely the better one. We want foreign TV, Kalam says, we want foreign TV, we want foreign shirts, we want foreign technology. Why this obsession with everything imported? We always love everything that is imported, whether it is, in fact, we believe that going to the foreign countries is a matter of great luck, and not everyone gets that opportunity. We feel that. So going to Canada, going to Australia and doing studies, that is a matter, of a high profile society. That is a matter of luck, that is a matter of opportunity, and not everyone gets that opportunity. Kalam says, do we not realize that self-respect comes with self-reliance? This is very important. Do we not realize that self-respect comes with self-reliance? I was in Hyderabad giving this lecture when a 14-year-old girl asked me for my autograph. I asked her what her goal in life is. She replied, I want to live in a developed India. This is an incident that Kalam shares with us, and he says that this is just a 14-year-old girl. Just imagine how much she must have heard from others that India is still not developed and India is so much backward. She must have heard so much of this that her dream is, her goal in her life is to live in a developed India. Now, Kalam believes, and he feels that we should all believe in this, that we must be having the self-respect, and that self-respect comes from self-reliance. You can respect yourself only if you are relied on your own self. So self-respect comes with self-reliance. If you are completely dependent on others, you would not respect yourself. So the first step to self-respect is to be self-reliant. So for her, Kalam says, for her, means for that 14-year-old girl, you and I will have to build this developed India. It is not a person from America, it is not a person from Australia, it is not a person from Canada to come and develop the country for us. It is our responsibility towards our country to develop the country. Instead of getting education and going and settling down in a foreign country and earning a lot of money, forgetting our country, Kalam believes that we should come back to the nation and we should do something so that our country becomes the developed India. You must proclaim India is not an underdeveloped nation, it is a highly developed nation. India is a highly developed nation. Okay. So basically he has asked a few questions. The first was, why is our media so negative? Second is, why are we so obsessed with foreign things? Why are we so much mad for the chocolates from the foreign countries, the products from foreign countries, which are so costly as well? Why are we so much obsessed with what they are doing? Why do we feel that what they do and what they wear, that becomes fashion? What is wrong with our clothes and our appearance? Okay, so basic question is, if we stop relying on them, if we stop being dependent on them, not just in terms of things, but also in terms of thinking, in terms of having strong mental capability. He feels that if we start thinking that we are self-reliant, we are self-assured, then we don't require to be dependent on others. And if we do this, we will definitely work to build this as a developed nation. Uh, Let us move ahead. Kalam then asked, "Do you have 10 minutes? Allow me to come back with a vengeance. Got 10 minutes for your country?" So, as if he is a little angry, and he says that, "Do you have 10 minutes for your country? If yes, then read. Otherwise, choice is yours. If you have 10 minutes for your country, then please continue reading. And if you don't have, then it is your choice. I can't do anything with that. You say that our government is inefficient. You say that our laws are too old. You say that the municipality does not pick up the garbage. You say that the phones don't work. The railways are a joke. The airline is the worst in the world. Mails never reach their destination. You say that our country has been fed to the dogs and is the absolute pits. You say, and say. So you keep saying. It is your way, it is your approach, it is your perspective, it is your attitude. No one else. If we stop saying this, because every individual makes society. The society makes country. So if we stop saying all these negative things, then there will be no discussion of the negative matters, negative things. So you can notice that YOU, U has been written in capital. Okay. So here I think we should stop for today, and we will continue with the lesson in the next class.